Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Tuesday, June 19th. This is Gina McGuire. Today we will continue to have scattered showers and thunderstorms across Idaho and Wyoming and possibly into far northern Utah. And these thunderstorms will be on the wetter side with higher humidity. Elsewhere across the Great Basin, drier weather will continue, and this dry weather is expected to continue through this week into this weekend, especially across Nevada, Utah, and the Arizona Strip. Looking at the last 24 hours, we did have some scattered thunderstorms up across Idaho and Wyoming into far northeast Nevada and northern Utah. These thunderstorms produced anywhere from a few hundredths of an inch of precipitation to the heavier amounts of near 2/10 or over a half inch of precipitation over eastern Idaho into Wyoming and far northern Utah. Great Basin fire activity was light yesterday with only a few new fires reported. Over the last 7 days, precipitation has mainly been targeted over the far northern half of the Great Basin, with the heaviest amounts across Idaho into Wyoming. And looking at the last 2 weeks, this precipitation across central and eastern Idaho into Wyoming has been well above normal. Further south, any precipitation we've seen has been generally below normal, with continued dry conditions over southern Nevada, southern Utah into the Arizona Strip. How this has affected our current fuels across the Great Basin: ERCs did come down with the cooler and some wet weather with higher humidity we saw over the weekend into early this week, especially across Utah. However, ERCs are quickly on the rise again and are already above the 80th to 90th percentile. And these ERCs, although they're not near the records that we saw last week, they still are above normal for the time of year. Elsewhere across the Great Basin, ERCs have come down again with the cooler weather up across Idaho and the wet weather also into western Nevada. However, drier and warmer weather will return this week. Therefore, we do expect these ERCs to increase again to above the 50th or even 70th percentile. Looking at our live fuel moistures, sagebrush fuel moisture has peaked across Idaho and into Nevada and is on the downward trend, but still above normal for the time of year, with the exception of southwest Idaho, which is still below normal. However, across southern and eastern Utah, the drier section of the Great Basin into the Arizona Strip, sagebrush fuel moistures are well below normal and still near record lows for the time of year. The satellite loop from this morning shows that area of low pressure that's been affecting the Great Basin the last few days is now located up across Idaho into Wyoming and will continue pushing eastward, with still, again, continued clouds and showers and thunderstorms in the north today, but we will see decreasing lightning activity as we go through the week across Idaho and Wyoming, with much drier and hotter conditions further south. Looking at the weather pattern for later this afternoon, again, you can see most of those showers and thunderstorms confined to Idaho and Wyoming and possibly far northeast Utah, with much drier conditions over southern areas of the Great Basin. You will continue to see fire potential in the low to moderate range over southern and eastern areas of the basin and low further north. Today, relative humidity will be in the single digits over southern Nevada, into southern Utah, and up into the 20 to 35% range up across Idaho into Wyoming, with those cooler temperatures and showers. Winds today will generally be light to moderate across the Great Basin. However, temperatures will be on the rise, and we will see temperatures increasing to around 10 degrees above normal, especially across Nevada, Utah, and the Arizona Strip, with highs reaching the low to mid-90s over northern and western areas of Nevada and Utah, and above 105 to 110 over southern Nevada into the Arizona Strip. And these temperatures with dry conditions will continue through this week. On Wednesday, you can see that drier air and high pressure system really taking hold over southern areas of the Great Basin, really bringing that warmer and drier trend. And you will continue to see fire potential increase more to the moderate range as we go through this week over the southern half of the Great Basin. On Wednesday, single-digit relative humidity starts to stretch a little bit further north into central Nevada and central Utah. We will see generally light to moderate winds. However, the zephyr winds across the Sierra front will be increasing on Wednesday, and we will see gusts in the low 20s. On Thursday, still high pressure dominating southern areas of the Great Basin. We will see weak areas of low pressure push across Idaho through much of this week, so we will see occasional periods of clouds and isolated showers and thunderstorms for Idaho and Wyoming as we go later in the week. Therefore, fire potential will remain low in the north and low to moderate over southern and western areas. On Thursday, we'll see pretty widespread single-digit relative humidity across all of Nevada, Utah, and the Arizona Strip, with again those increasing temperatures. We'll also see winds start to pick up as a low moves across Idaho, so we will see general wind gusts out of the southwest between 20 and 25 miles per hour across much of Nevada, Utah, and the Arizona Strip. The 3-day forecast amount of precipitation, again, any precip is confined to Idaho and Wyoming, with good amounts up in the central Idaho mountains. As we go into the weekend, still warm and dry conditions across much of the Great Basin, with that fire potential continuing to increase to low to moderate as fuels continue to rapidly dry out this week with those hotter temperatures and much drier conditions. Similar pattern on Saturday, however, we do have an area of low pressure again dropping south into the Rockies, which will clip Idaho into Wyoming, bringing some briefly cooler temperatures and possibly some isolated showers and thunderstorms, but again, the rest of the basin remains warm and dry. This warm and dry weather continues through Sunday and into Monday in most areas. Therefore, our fuel conditions will really start to rapidly dry out as we go through this week and this weekend with an extended period of hot and dry weather. 7-day amount of precipitation, again, any precipitation accumulation will be confined to the far northern areas of the basin. Looking at the 8 to 14-day outlook, which takes us into the very end of June into the first few days of July, shows warm temperatures across the Great Basin and generally below normal precipitation. We may start to see some early effects of the monsoon across parts of Utah as we get late into June and early July. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.